Hi everyone, Don Singletary. Welcome to the channel. If you're new to the channel, be sure and look for the beginners playlist in the text below the video. And you can catch up and follow along on these live trades we're doing these days. I have two live trades, not just one, coming up today. One's going to be where I use two S&P Micro Emini futures contracts to make about $72 in less than 30 minutes. But first, I have kind of a different trade for you. It's a DJIA Micro E-mini, and I'm going to talk to you about some of the odds of winning and losing while you're trading. We'll have all that and more coming up right now. I've always been highly fascinated by two things: human psychology, the strange things we think and do, and also probability math, the statistical probabilities in trading. In particular. Now you see, to win the Mega Millions jackpot, it's 302,600,000 to 1 that you're going to lose that dollar. But if you keep putting that dollar down every week, it would only take you 11,638 years to guarantee a win. Now, why would you stand in line with your money in your hand to buy a piece of that? Well, that's easy, because you don't have to be afraid of losing, because the dollar's not going to hurt you. And it's fun. Everybody does it once in a while, maybe. Some not, and that's okay too. There's the old thing that lotto is actually a tax on people who are bad at math. Might be true. Now, you know, if you flip a coin, the odds are 50-50. And one can argue that when you buy or sell a futures contract, the odds are also 50-50. 50%, you're right if it goes up and you buy, 50% if it goes down and you sell a contract, 50-50. But what if we could use our trade signal indicators to get those odds up to closer to 60-40? We might be able to find an edge in our trading. And that's kind of what I want to talk about today with the first trade coming up. Now you can see this is on November 6th, 3 days after the 2020 November elections. This is on a Friday morning. From 5:30 till 8:30 in the morning, you can see by the yellow highlighted there's not much up and down action in the market. I would call that fairly low volatility. Then something kicks the market up at 8:30 in the morning, and then right before the opening at 9 o'clock, the market starts going down through the opening. And then right here in the red square area, you can see for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, for half an hour, the market goes nowhere. It's just sitting there. And this is reflected by the wavy lines down on the MAC indicator below. And then about 10:51 in the morning, I place this trade. I see the green line going over the red line. Now, they're both above the zero line, but not very much. So this is more of a scalping trade than it is a trend trade. We're just going to try to use that MACD to get better than 50-50 odds to put this trade on. That's exactly what we're doing. And remember, we're on a low volatility time period here, so we're not into a really risky trade. And it's great for learning this way, because that Dow Jones Industrial Average Micro E-mini is only 50 cents per point. And you see we're long one contract at 28,249 here. And the market is just sitting there, really. The green line's still over the red line, but barely. So I want to watch it here and be ready to exit the trade if I get any significant loss here. And I expect to have better than 50-50 odds going into this thing. But so far, it really looks about 50-50 at this point. So I have to be ready to stop out if I need to and just exit the trade quickly. What I'm hoping for is to get that 28,249 mark, get it up a little bit higher so I can put a stop market order in behind it. And that way I'll have a trade I can't lose money on, and I call that a free trade. It's not really free, but what it does is it's lock it in there so that I can't lose any money on the trade. So in that sense, it's I know the trade's not going to cost me anything. Now we're getting some action our way. 28,276, 28,283, 285. And that's enough for me to go in here and put about a stop market order about 20 points down from the 285. So I'll go at 28,265. Now, 28,265 is exactly $8 above where we got in at. So now I know the worst thing that can happen in this trade is that I'm going to make $8 on it. So in that sense, it's a free trade. I can wait and set it out and see what happens here. And sometimes it's not going to be something great, but we already know we got the stop market order in there behind it. It's not going to be bad. So we're kind of watching the horse race here, and he's not going our way at this particular time. 28,265. I was stopped out at 28,264 in the trade after about 6 minutes. Now I want to call timeout right here. I called a friend of mine on the phone last night, and we were talking about the channel and how it's going. And I told him I had a little trade that was going to make $8 today, and I was really glad I was going to be able to post it up. And he asked me, "What the hell are you doing?" He said, "You teaching them how to make $8? And I said, "No, I'm teaching them how not to lose thousands of dollars. This is a training wheels, baby step trade, okay? But you need to understand these principles so you can study things like putting that stock market behind in there so you can have a trade that is not going to take money out of your account. Remember, that's rule number 1, preservation of capital. So is this a Mickey Mouse trade? Yeah, it certainly is. But it has a very good point. It teaches you defense. You have to always put rule number 1 first. And remember, rule number 2 is never forget rule number 1. And I told my friend, these people do know how to multiply. Once they get it down, they learn how to make money. They know how to multiply. They can get more contracts and get it going, and they'll be fine. So if somebody makes fun of your $8 profit, you just tell them, well, after commissions, I had enough left for a Chick-fil-A sandwich with waffle fries. How about that? Remember, if you want to see more videos like the one you're watching now, click the like button. That helps me know what you want to see here on the channel. And thank you. Okay, today's live trade of the week, a couple of S&P500 Micro Eminis. I'm going to be buying 2 contracts, as you'll see here, at 35.02 3/4. This is November 5th, 2020 at 12:48 p.m. Now, taking a look at this chart, what I'm doing here, I would call this a scalping trade. See the MACD down at the bottom. Now, with that green line coming up to the red line there, looks like momentum's about to take an upturn here. So I'm trying to anticipate that. It's already actually begun if you look at the chart there. And as I'm into the trade here, just for a minute or two, I decided to put in a stop market order because above all, I do not want to lose any money on this trade. It's trading at 35.02 and a half right now. So I've got my stop in at 35.01. That's very, very close stop, and I just might get stopped out, but I might not. And remember, rule number 1. So what I'm doing now is I'm moving my stop up yet again. The market's trading near 35.04 here. We're 4 minutes into the trade. I changed my stop to 35.02 now. So the worst thing that can happen in this trade is I could lose $7.50. So that's not a lot of risk I'm taking. So let's see what happens. That's the way you got to think about it. What's happening here? I'm not obsessed with how much money am I going to make. I'm obsessed with how little can I risk to make this trade and see what happens. And that's rule number 1 at all times. Now we're way up at 13 minutes into the trade, a minute past 1 o'clock in the afternoon, and it's going my way. Now notice I'm going with the momentum, not against it here. And there's been very, very little drawdown on the trade. Now we're 14 minutes into the trade here, and I see my unrealized profits up there around $75 now. So time to move the stop up from 35.02 to 35.05. So now the worst case scenario and outcomes for this trade is that I would make $22.50. That's the worst case scenario. Now I am risking a portion of my unrealized profit, and you always have to be aware of that. But I'm 16 minutes into the trade now. I'm going to move that stop up yet again. This time I'm going to 35.09. And I'm 16 minutes into the trade now, got a good profit going, and I've never risked more than $7.50, and that was only in the first 2 minutes of the trade. So I really haven't had any money at risk in this. And you got to remember, though, those unrealized profits are also your money. And I have part of it protected now, but not all of it. You can see up here these two kind of doji patterns at the top there. Looks like this trade could be leveling off, and I'm losing momentum up there now. And I'm up about $87, $90 on the trade. This is the high for the trade. We're 24 minutes in here at 1:12 p.m. Eastern Time. It did go up to about $100 profit there, and with the momentum fading, I'm going to move that stop up to 35.10. The bloom may be off this flower now. We'll find out. We're trading 35.11, very close to the stop, and there we go. Stopped out at 35.10. I really do go back and read every comment that's on the channel that people leave, and one comment I get a lot of, and it's just going to happen with beginners. I wish it didn't, but they say sometimes, and it's true, sometimes on a live trade, I'm going back and forth so fast it's kind of hard to follow, and you can't always see where the mouse cursor is and things like that. But as you use the software, whatever software you choose, I'm using Tastyworks, it will get better. I promise. So let me go back and do an instant replay on why I got out of this trade. I've got these two doji patterns at the top there. Now, what that means is they're 5 minutes each now. So for a full 10 minutes, the market didn't go up or down. And what that means is you're losing momentum. So when you see a line of flat doji type patterns on the candlesticks, that lets you know that momentum, whichever way it's going, it's slowing down now. And that was the main thing that prompted me to get out of the trade. The other thing was, look down in the lower pane there at the MACD, and you'll see that it's going up on the green arrow there, but it looks as though it's topping off some. And that just reconfirms what those two flat doji patterns at the top are telling me. So that was why I decided to move the stop up to 35.10, and that the bloom was off this rose for the trade. Momentum doesn't last forever. It's all about the timing, and it's all about rule number one. During the trade, you can back up here, stop it, pause it, print out a screen picture and print that out for your trading journal, whatever you need to do. Now, on this trade, lasted 26 minutes. Obviously, I shortened it down a lot, so you may have to rewind and stop the viewer there a couple of times so you'd be able to follow everything if you're a real beginner. Now, if you are a beginner, remember, this video today with the live trades is a little past the starting point, but I have two playlists for beginners, and they're marked in the text below this video. We made $72.50, and the maximum unrealized profit hit 100 on this trade. So we had a maximum drawdown of only $7.50, which is amazing. We made 10 times the maximum drawdown, and that's a pretty good ratio. You're looking at a screen now that what happened the next 5 or 10 minutes of the trade. You see, indeed, our dojis did portend some downward momentum on the trade, and so we got out at just the right time. I think one of the important things I'm able to do here on the channel is to keep the trading setup and that trading screen looking the same all the time. I use the Tastyworks software platform, and I recommend it especially for beginners. And I even have a setup file you can download to have your screen the same colors as mine too. They're great with that white background for printing it out and keeping notes in a trade journal. It's a good way to go. Remember, all the free videos on the channel are because of my book sales, so I'm going to plug the book now, and I hope you'll take a look at the table of contents at the book tab in the text below. It takes you to the Amazon page where you can look inside and see the table of contents. And for your consideration, I thank you. And don't forget to look for that Tastyworks link below too. I'm Don Singletary. You had a couple of great trades today and practicing our defense. I hope every day is a payday for you. Thank you.